Welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow on ET Now, the only show on Indian television right now where you, the MSME entrepreneur, get center stage. We get experts across industries and across areas to answer all of your queries. Tonight, we have Samriti Grover in conversation with Keshav Bansal, Director of Intex Technologies, the IT manufacturing major, to talk about manufacturing in India and a whole host of other issues. Do take a look.
Thank you so much, Keshav, for joining us on Leaders of Tomorrow. It's truly a pleasure to have someone so young as you to join us on the show.
Pleasure.
Okay, let me start from the very beginning. The Intex group, as per se, embodies the Make in India vision, especially in the space that you are. And we haven't seen many domestic manufacturers in this space. So how did your father really get the idea of getting into the mobile phone, the electronics, computer space?
We are a 20-year-old brand. We started with just one product, Ethernet cards, in '96. We've always been centric to bridge the gap between, providing and empowering consumers with the latest technological advanced products with an affordable price. So at that time, in '96, Ethernet cards was something with which we started with. Going with the years, we started diversifying into new product categories. We got into speakers in the year 2000 because mostly at that time the speakers market was, I would say, it was a monopoly of the MNCs. And if you talk about Make in India, Intex got into Make in India, started manufacturing speakers much before the Make in India movement started. We set up our first manufacturing plant in the year back in 2004. So I think the vision was always there to become leaders in whatever categories Intex operate in, and therefore I think it's really important for any brand today, if they aspire to be leaders, it's extremely important for them to have the manufacturing ecosystem under their roof. We diversified into feature phones and smartphones in 2007 and 2012 respectively. We started with only a couple of models, I still remember, and over the years, as we see today, Intex has a huge portfolio of 4G smartphones, and we are proud leaders in the domestic Indian mobile handset market.
So you think it's really visionary of our Honorable Prime Minister to get in the Make in India vision and make India a global manufacturing hub, because that is the way forward? If
I talk about India 10 years back, there was no talk about manufacturing, and at least I would say it has been the perfect start. The foundation has been laid, and the vision of Make in India is, if we understand from the larger perspective, if we talk about MSMEs, or we talk about big corporates, or we talk about country as a whole, it is a very logical step for any country's economy to grow. I mean, till the time you're not a manufacturing global giant, you can't really move ahead. And the moment you have manufacturing under your roof, you have a better control over product quality, better control over product timelines. The research and development also comprise somewhat innovation, So I think all these factors create and complete entire manufacturing ecosystem with which any brand definitely benefits and moves higher up the ladder.
So, you talked about your price point, and that is definitely one of the USPs that you have. Was it a thought through move strategy to keep your pricing pocket friendly, because that's how you can actually connect and appeal to the masses?
I would agree with that. We need to understand India is an extremely price sensitive market, and from day one we've always actually thought about being a brand which empowers technology to the masses. And when you talk about masses, if you have to reach the masses, you have to be priced at at pocket friendly or affordable pricing, because you can't really raise your prices high, and you can't be high priced and then reach to masses. So I think that has been one of the extremely important aspects around why Intex is so successful today.
But this space is really competitive. There's cutthroat competition here. And do you see today the consumer becoming more brand conscious? So do you see them swaying towards, global brands, big brands, and, go ahead in the market and buy those? Is that a challenge you're facing currently?
Let me go back a little in the history. If we talk about the years 1990, 1990 there was only one car brand. I remember my elders telling me Ambassador, and it was kind of a monopoly that time. But the moment 1992 we opened the liberalization policy came in, we had a slew of automobile car companies coming in throughout these years, only to realize that the market has opened up, the consumer is benefiting, there are much more technological advances going on, a lot of innovation going on, prices have gone down. So one should really understand that I gave this perspective to anyone to understand that competition is always good for the market, for the consumer. It opens up the market, it brings technological innovation, it brings the prices down. So the consumer and the brands, all of them really benefit. So first of all, we enjoy this cutthroat competition. Definitely, you have both the pros and cons. If you were to talk about challenges, it does ensure that we are on our toes all the times. We feel that nobody understands the pulse of the consumer any better than us. So I think it does open doors of innovation, technological advancement.
What are the innovations, if I can ask you, that we can perhaps look forward to in the domestic mobile handset market?
Well, as we just discussed, I think mobiles have become more like an FMCG commodity, and I would say innovation would be regarded and synergized with more to do with the variables in the going next to 4 to 5 years. Currently, the variables market is a little low. It's not that big. It's in its nascent stages. But I think 4 years, 5 years down the line, we would expect a lot many things happening in the wearable devices. IoT, Internet of Things. I mean, just imagine when you leave from your office, just with a touch of your wearable or at your smartphone, you switch the air conditioners on at your home or these things. These technologies are available today, but are extremely expensive and not that probably user friendly. So I think IoT platforms, digital services, wearables is something where our economy and the innovation sector is probably heading.
We're talking about mobiles and smartphones. So how is this segment changing the way MSMEs and startups are doing businesses today?
Well, yes, that's an interesting one. If we see over the years, in India, the usage of mobile phones has been increasing drastically. We started with feature phones, now diversified into smartphones. Currently in the Indian economy, I think of the total mobile users, 60% are feature phone users and 40% are smartphone users. We talk about any government initiative, mobile phones is the centerpiece of everything. We talk about digital economy, we talk about Skill India, even the recent move of demonetization, we see that the smartphone usage is going to only grow. Technology in your hands, whether it be the increasing use of payment wallets, or skilling people, or tracking anything. Today, if you have to be leader, you have to grow. Technology has to be the center stone for you, and everything, all the entire ecosystem should revolve around that. And the technology has made our lives so much better and easier.
You talked about various government initiatives, the Skill India, Digital India. I also want your views on GST, which everybody is talking about and is the buzzword these days. Is that going to impact your business? And if yes, how do you see that going forward?
Before GST, every state has its own tax structure. There were a lot of accounting issues, primarily, leading into accounting inefficiencies. GST brings all the 29, 30 states of India under one roof, one tax for one nation. So I completely am very, very positive about GST. However, at the same time, the distribution channel in the current scenario is extremely uncertain, I must admit, about how the consumer demands are going to vary post GST rollout. Therefore, in the current scenario, we definitely see a lot of corporates and the industries being affected with a lower distribution channel purchase. So, but again, having said that, if we look at from the long-term point of view, if I talk about mobile industry or if I talk about the consumer durables industry, post GST, the final prices of the products are more or less going to remain the same. I'm extremely positive about the GST move. Yes, there is a little uncertainty in the short term, but if you talk about the long run, it's going to benefit the country, the brands, everyone,
You don't see the demand being hit?
In the short term, I must admit, yes, prices of the products are going to remain the same. It's just about the uncertainty amongst the entire environment. Again, it's the biggest tax reform. So there are going to be little hiccups, but I think it's a great move and I completely support it.
Well, hold that thought, Keshav. It's time for a quick break. But, after this break, I want to know more about your association with sports and your personal journey as an entrepreneur. And also, since you've invited us to this Intex mansion, I would like you to show us around a little.
Sure.
Stay tuned. We'll be back. Welcome back, and we're still in conversation with Keshav Bansal from Intex Technologies. Keshav, before the break, you were talking about the GST regime and how it's been game-changing. What are the other changes that you would like to see in the regulatory framework, especially whereas your industry is concerned?
Well, I must admit that this government is extremely proactive in getting a lot of reforms, as far as the functioning is concerned, whether I talk about GST, demonetization, Digital India, Skill India, Startup
Sure.
India. But I think rather than bringing more reforms, I think we have a lot of them already on the table. It's important for all the industries, the brands, the economy now to adapt, absorb these reforms and work on, making India a better place, a better ecosystem.
Sure.
For all the startups also, for all the brands also to function in.
I want to also talk about the retail space right now.
Yeah.
And do you see that space change dramatically, especially with the advent of the e-commerce boom? Like, how do you make sure that your consumers remain loyal to the brand? And not only your same consumers, you want to acquire more consumers as well. So how does that e-commerce boom really help you?
So yeah, I understand there are two parts of the question. Let me answer the first one. Well, yes, there has been a significant boost in the e-commerce in the last 7 to 8 years, if you see. If I talk about mobile industry, of the total mobile phones sold, currently around 35% are sold online. That's a big chunk, So we see that e-commerce has really evolved as a platform, and at Intex we still believe that the old mortar and brick is nowhere to go, and therefore we launched Intex Smart Worlds. Quite happy to share with you that in less than 3 years we've rolled out 100 Intex Smart Worlds. Most of them are profitable, and in another 2 years we plan to roll another 200 of them out. So yes, while e-commerce is important, I think the consumers, there are a lot of consumers who still feel that they really want to touch and feel the product. They want to engage with the company people and understand. So
especially when it's a phone or a consumer durable or something. We're really not that comfortable still buying it online.
So e-commerce is going to grow, but at the same time, the traditional mortar brick and mortar is going to stay there. So at Intex, I think it's really important for us to balance out the two things.
So I want to ask you now about something that is really close to your heart. You obviously own the Gujarat Lions that you've talked about, and it's an association with a sport that is the love of the nation. You've had a 2-year run with them. How do you see the sponsorship scene changing in India? Do you think it's evolving?
We've been in this space since a long time. Intex has been associated with cricket since a long time. We've been sponsoring on-ground, on-air events. But I think, as I told you, it's really important for any brand in today's environment, today's era, to innovate in their marketing strategies. Therefore, buying a team in an IPL, Gujarat Lions, was a part of our broader marketing strategy. And I can proudly tell you that we were extremely successful. The brands, there was a complete revamp in brand's image. The brand it reached out to a global footprint, you know. So yes, I think sports is extremely, I personally believe that in today's environment, where in India, you know, where we have the biggest chunk of population is the youth, I think sports is one area where any brand can really connect and engage with its consumers. So therefore, cricket is a no-brainer in India.
Sure.
You know, and this year IPL 2017 viewership number went up to 411 million, and there is no other property which gives an average TRP of 3.5 across almost 2 months. So it was a fantastic proposition for us.
But how is sports sponsorship shaping up, whereas other sports is concerned, because you've also invested there?
Yeah, I think you're talking about Super Fight League.
Yeah.
So, you know, at Intex, we've taken a conscious decision that we are going to diversify into sports, number one. Super Fight League is again the mixed martial art which has been brought into India. We bought the Gujarat Warriors team. So I again strongly believe that fortunately or unfortunately, cricket is the biggest watched sport today in India. But I think the youth of today wants, and they want to see more sports. They want to engage with more sports. Hence, a Super Fight League, a mixed martial art team by the name of Gujarat Warriors. I think it's about, again, investing and being patient. It will take time. It will take 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, you don't know. But these things will grow with time. So I think it's important as youth of this country today that we spearhead, and we, as a sports enthusiast myself, it's important for us to support the sport ecosystem and how to build on it.
And you know, what better way to take that forward, you know, by using technology, and you've invested in this app called Routers, which is connecting fans together through this medium. You know,
That's
take
right.
us through that.
That's right. So Router again, I believe, is a path-breaking sports app. It basically connects all the sports enthusiasts, the sports lover, you know, across your vicinity on one platform, where you can interact with each other, meet, watch a common match. You have prediction games in it. So it's quite a cool sports app, you know. Let's say I'm a Gujarat Lion fan. I'm in Delhi, and I'm alone. I don't really have anyone to watch the match with. So we tie up with all the cafes and restaurants. We can watch the match together. We have a match forum. We have predictions. So we have a interesting point system where the consumers, if their predictions are right, they will redeem their offers, and we give them coupons, 50, 100, 200 rupees off on all the Paytm wallets or e-commerce websites. So it's quite an interesting app.
Can a small player, you know, afford to take that risk? Because, you know, I was reading somewhere an article which was written by a father, and, you know, he talked about how he struggled to get capital initially, and that was obviously to start off his business. Marketing comes way later. And that's perhaps, you know, one of the problems that MSMEs who write into us also say, that, you know, it's very tough to get funds for their business idea. So what do you have to say to them? Because, you know, everyone's on a tight budget, literally cash, you know, restricted when you're starting out.
Well, that's a very important point. In '96, Intex was started with merely rupees 20,000, and today we are a $1 billion conglomerate.
Sure.
And yes, while discussing with my father or with other startups, it is capital is definitely one thing without which you cannot grow, and is probably one of the most painful areas where a person gets to struggle. So I think, having said that, however, you know, for any MSME, it's extremely important that the business idea should revolve around consumers. It should enhance their life in any or whichever way. It should add value to their life. It should empower people. So if you have a great business idea, I think today is the golden era. The amount of PE funds, angel investors, venture capitalists we have.
Even
in
the
this time.
government, for
yeah,
that
so
matter.
I think two things. Your idea needs to be really customer centric, and you have to pitch it well to these investors. I think the platform is there right now. Yes, there is a lot of struggle, but I think if you pitch it right to the right people, it's not going to be that tough.
So it's the power of the idea that's going to actually make it sell.
Totally.
That's why I think you're very closely connected and yourself are doing something for the startup community to kind of get that push. So what is that idea about?
That's true, actually. Again, at Intex, we've set up a 200 crores startup fund. Okay. Again, in line with diversifying into similar technological spaces. This startup fund at Intex, the initiative is to invest in digital services, IoT platforms, anything and related to the technological space where we feel that it holds synergy with Intex. We have made a conscious effort to invest into technologies and startups where we find synergy. And yes, I think on the larger aspect, yes, definitely we are here to grow and push startups, give them support. And if we are blessed with that, why not?
Right. So, you are taking on the legacy of a family-run business. What are your key learnings? What have you really learned? And has that helped you actually in your entrepreneurial journey?
Well, this is a really close one to my heart. Second generation entrepreneurs like me do have their own set of challenges. We often get to hear that if we succeed, people say that इसने क्या किया है, इसका तो बाप का बनाया हुआ empire था. If we don't succeed, if we fail, we get to hear that what a fool. Yeah. His father gave him a ready-made food on platter and he's not able to succeed. So we have our own set of challenges, but at the same time, again, earning respect, my father made it very clear from day one, just because I'm his son does not entitle me to occupy the hot seat over there. But it's been an exciting journey, I must admit. I started when I got inducted to the business, I joined the logistics department. I was in my third year in my college. I started from the most basic job of loading and unloading of boxes, cabinet boxes, in the scorching heat of Delhi.
So you're not feeling hot right now?
No, I'm not. So I completely believe in starting from the grassroots level. Somewhere down the line, I now understand the value why my dad started mentoring me and got me through the logistics department and then moved me up the chain.
But can family-run businesses, be managed professionally?
Well, that's a tricky one. They can be. We have some good examples in our industry today. It is actually all about the mindset, which in India specifically, it has been mostly that the son will take on the father's empire and business. I think most of Indians feel that way, I think. But at the same time, I feel that now is the time which has started to come, and it's not really difficult for professionals to take the legacy forward.
My final question to you, any words of advice that you would have for our new age MSME entrepreneurs? Because a lot of them must be looking up to you also. Sure. as a model who's someone, taking on the reins of such a big business empire.
Keep following your dream. There are no shortcuts. These are the old ways, but I think I can actually share what we follow. We are extremely disciplined. We try and be focused on not too many distractions, and there are going to be really low times. You have to keep believing in your idea, and again, important to there are a lot of incubator facilities available these days. So if the startups and all the new MSMEs go to these incubator facilities, they do get a lot of guidance. Sure. Again, extremely important is your mentors. You need to have some kind of a mentor or mentorship program who do guide you in the right direction. So I think it's a mixture of all these aspects. If you combine all of them, I think I'm not really sure about success or not, but I think you're going to move ahead further up the ladder.
Well, thank you so much, Keshav, for joining us on Leaders of Tomorrow. And it was a real pleasure talking to someone who's taking a family empire to actually the next level. Thank you so much.
completely out of time then on that special conversation with Intex Technologies. If you have any feedback for us or you want to get in touch with us, do write in at leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com. You can also reach us on social media. Tweet at me at Sunanda_J or LOT_ET now, or reach us on Leaders of Tomorrow on ET now. That's our Facebook page. You can also call us on that number that you see on your screen. We love hearing from you. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.